Right, Shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, and double honors unto the apostles and elders at GreatMillStone, and honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to you brothers out there that's listening and learning, supporting the ministry, and to the sisters as well. And this video pretty much is going to be a response to a video I saw, which I'll insert the clip in a second, regarding transgenderism in Iran, which is an Islamic country, and those people have declared that so-called sex changes to be righteous, to be in line with their form of righteousness. Okay, which further proves that, look man, there's only, and this is going to be the point of the whole video from the back, then I'm going to get the scriptures on it. There's only one righteousness, and that righteousness is of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. That is the righteousness of the Father, Yahweh, which is in Yahweh Shai. Okay, his word and his will. Alright, that's how right and wrong is determined. And that righteousness, okay, will only enter into this world through a specific conduit, through a specific mechanism, which is the tabernacle of David. Okay, the thrones of David, the thrones of the nation of Israel, and that's going to be in the kingdom of heaven. All right, Islam and Christianity and all these different religions and philosophies, and even all these different nations, okay, they were not set up to be the conduit. Let's look at this word conduit, the conduit of righteousness and righteous judgment on the earth. Okay, just like the Edomites, the so-called white men, they were 100% not set up in any way, shape, or form to bring forth righteousness on this earth. Now, the word conduit means a channel for conveying water or fluid. All right? Conduct, to bring together. All right? Like you get a channel for conveying water or fluid. Israel is a channel for the Most High's righteousness to come forth onto the earth, for the word of the Lord to be established on the earth. So let me show you this clip with Iran.
In 2015, the Iranian women's national football team was reported to include several transgender women who had not undergone gender reassignment surgery. In fact, Iran reportedly performs the second highest number of gender reassignment surgeries in the world, despite being a strict Muslim nation. So why would a country that demonizes homosexuality be such a proponent of gender reassignment surgery? Well, Iran has long been considered one of the more conservative Middle Eastern countries. Almost any activity outside of a heterosexual marriage is illegal, and many homosexual men and women have been arrested, beaten, and put to death. This is in line with Sharia, or Islamic law. However, in the 1980s, Iran's religious leader Ayatollah Khomeini was visited by a transgender woman. Although reports differ, she pleaded her case by showing him that she was, quote, a woman living inside a man's body, end quote. In response, Khomeini publicly issued a religious ruling, or fatwa, arguing that if somebody wants to undergo a sex change because he feels trapped inside someone else's body, he has the right to get rid of this body and transform into another sex. Now, this pronouncement may have come as a surprise, but in fact, Khomeini had already investigated the controversial issue of transsexuality some 20 years ago. At the time, he wrote that surgically changing your sex was not in violation of any religious laws, which has since been reaffirmed by the Iranian government. Today, Iran regularly encourages gender reassignment surgeries and even subsidizes a significant portion of their cost. The country is thought to have one of the highest rates of sex reassignment surgeries in the world, comparable to Thailand. But while the high rate of surgeries may seem to suggest a more progressive Iran, in practical application, the situation is much worse than it seems. The issue stems from the fact that any non-heterosexual behavior is condemned. Thus, sex reassignment is more of an effort to bring a person's behavior and lifestyle in line with Islamic law. Transgender men and women who are outed or who choose to continue living without surgery are often lumped in with gays and lesbians and risk being put to death. While many transgender people in other countries are able to live without undergoing unwanted surgery and hormonal alterations, in Iran there may be few alternatives. What is considerably worse is that because homosexuality is poorly understood in Iran, it's treated more like a mental illness. One common prescription is for gay people to go through gender reassignment so that in the eyes of the law, they are attracted to the opposite sex. Some have even reported that they were unaware of homosexuality as a concept and believed that the only explanation was that they were trapped in the wrong body. Many people who go through such an experience in Iran deeply regret the taxing and difficult transition. Finally, reports indicate that gender reassignment surgery doesn't eliminate the abuse that trans and homosexual Iranians face. Discrimination and violence continue to be a distressing part of their lives. So while on its face, Iran's acceptance of transgender men and women seems progressive, in reality, it's anything but. Fortunately, there are many countries with much more progressive policies. To learn about the countries that recognize a third gender, check out the video up top. It's been great hosting for you today. If you want to see more of me, check out my channel, Just Between Us, where we regularly discuss sexuality. Thanks for watching TestTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe to watch new videos. We'll see you next time.
Right, so you should have seen the clip. Now, they are so-called against homosexuality, which they got that from the holy scriptures. But then they turn around and they try and make some form of solution for homosexuality by way of trying to bring forth this transgenderism, which is against the holy scriptures, against the righteousness of the Heavenly Father. The scripture says a man can't even wear the garment of a woman and vice versa, or that's an abomination. But you're gonna make some vain attempt to turn a man into a woman and a woman into a man, which ultimately that is biologically impossible, and it's nothing more than vanity. But this is just an example to show you that these different heathen nations and their vain philosophies, you ain't gonna get righteousness out of that. Now, are they gonna bring forth some kind of thing within it that might be correct? Yes. But when it comes to the purity of righteousness, they weren't set up to do that. All right? That judgment has been given into the hands of the thrones of David, which are going to be established in Yahushua, who sits on that throne. Now, this is Psalms 122:5. For there are set thrones of judgment, the thrones of the house of David. And not only these thrones set for judgment over the 12 tribes of Israel, ultimately the throne of David, the thrones of David, the thrones of the house of David, represents the 144,000, are set up above all the nations to bring forth what? The righteous judgment of Yahushua, and therefore the Father, which created him, onto the earth. And that's the only way. There is no other way. The Lord has set up the 144,000 in their order to bring the light into the world. Now, I want to get Isaiah 2:1, because it is prophesied, the word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house. Now, what's the mountain of the Lord's house? That's the chief thrones of David, of the house of David. The government. The Lord's house is Israel. The government of the Lord's house begins with King David and the men that were around him in that government. For instance, the head apostle Peter and the rest of the 12 apostles and on down to the rest of the 144,000 leaders. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain, the government of the Lord's house, shall be established in the top of the mountain. So the government of Israel, the righteous government of Israel, which there's only one righteous government in Israel, and those men have been pre-selected from the foundation of the earth, all right, is going to be put over, have dominion over all the other governments of the nations from Edom on down to Moab, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. Like now, all nations ultimately are flowing onto the Mount of Esau, onto Amalek. But in the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom that's going to be established, the only righteous kingdom that's ever going to exist. Okay, that's why it's going to be an everlasting kingdom, because righteousness is eternal. Wickedness is vain. All right. All these nations are going to come to us, the Israelites, the thrones of David, for righteous judgment and rulership. And many people shall go and say, come ye, let us go up to the government, the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he shall teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. So the conduit for the word of the Lord is what? The 144,000, the government of Israel, and then on to the rest of Israel. And that's how the other nations and the earth is going to receive the word, receive the light, guidance, and instruction through the nation of Israel. All right, 1 Corinthians 6:2. Do ye not know that the saints, the Israelites shall judge the world? Now, in this particular case, the world represents what? The people. All right, because we know that by prophecy. When you go to the word there for world, it's cosmos, right? Now, the word cosmos doesn't necessarily mean everyone. It can mean a particular group. But in this particular scriptures, the cosmos is ultimately talking about everyone. Because you got to apply that word cosmos, how it doesn't necessarily mean everyone, but it can mean everyone. You got to rightly describe the scriptures. Rightly divide the word of truth. Are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters? So the saints, which are the Israelites, are going to judge the world, which is everyone else, the heathens, everyone. All right. It says here, Revelations 2:26, and that Isaiah 2 is going to be fulfilled in the elect, in the chosen elect of the Lord, beginning with 144,000 you read about in Revelations, the 7th chapter. And when the Lord comes, right, he's going to empower those men with power to exert that judgment. He's going to give the throne of David, because right now the throne of David doesn't have the power on the earth, but the Lord is going to reestablish that power, reestablish the tabernacle. Revelations 2:25, and he that overcometh, which the he that overcometh would be of those chosen men, or those men that follow those men, and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. What's power? Authority, judicial authority. Judicial authority, power to judge in righteousness though. And he shall rule them with a rod and iron. We're going to establish righteousness. No prisoners, so to speak. I mean, we are going to have prisoners, but I mean as in, there ain't going to be no tolerance of wickedness in our kingdom. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers. Yeah, justice, all the wickedness from this side of the world is going to be balanced out in the beginning of the next world. Like for instance, these other nations and what they did to the nation of Israel. Even as I received of my Father, all right? And I will give him the morning star. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. Because the churches represent the congregation of Israelites that were going to form that governance of Israel. Okay, it's very simple. So with that, I'm going to say shalom.